humanity so much that he's able to do that. So that is the whole celebration, that God tabernacled among mere mortals. And we should rejoice that that has happened, and hence the great celebration of Christmas. And but of course, because of the factors we mentioned a moment ago, preachers must encourage people to bring Jesus back into Christmas, because the commercialization, the distractions sometimes take us away for the message that you just beautifully summarized, that man is unholy, man needs to be friends with holy God, and Jesus Christ is the bridge. And he came on earth at this time through the Virgin Mary. And for that, Gambians are comfortable with that. You look at Surah Maryam, and you look at Luke chapter 2, there is no question.
It's synonymous.
It is, in fact, I would even say the Surah Maryam is more matter of fact than Luke chapter 2. So that's not a question here. But Mary is very important. That's why, as you've noticed, we have chosen, we have honored her by giving her, for example, the name of our cathedral is St. Mary's.
St. Mary's.
Even the Catholic cathedral is the Assumption of Blessed Mary. And you know that wonderful school that almost everybody went through, St. Mary's School.
St. Mary's.
We have some plans to make it a great, model in our city in the near future. And also, we talk about Combo St. Mary. We talk about Mary is a very important person in the Christmas story, and we need to draw attention to her from time to time.
Your Grace, I wanted to ask you, with all the peaceful coexistence between the religions here in the Gambia, elsewhere, and notably in Nigeria, you have Muslims and Christians always at loggerheads. How do you view this?
I have been trying to understand the dynamics of the situation in northern Nigeria particularly. But I am inclined to think that it's not wholly interreligious. It is to do with land. Apparently the indigents of a particular land feel that they are being dispossessed of their land, and they give it a religious tinge. Perhaps, but I don't know. But the fact that that is happening at the scale it is happening. Now we're talking about basic respect for life, for the sanctity of life, really. I mean, when I tell people that when there's occasional, situation of 2 or 3 people dying, it's like the end of the world in our context. But we hear of people dying in their hundreds sometimes. It's just mind-boggling for the average Gambian, especially when it's linked with religion. And that's why I think we should do whatever is possible to export this unique experience here in West Africa, that Muslims and Christians can live side by side and coexist and respect each other's understanding of God and go along. We have a lot to share, and I do hope and pray that this will continue. I was saying also that in Kenya last week, I drew attention to the assembled company of delegates. They were talking about the context of which the Christian majority, in I think I can't remember which countries now. They had to raise the point. No, there are certain parts of West Africa that the Christians are in the minority, and yet what you're talking about here is foreign to us, but you should recognize that, and perhaps you may want to study what's going on in the situation, and maybe one might be able to learn 1 or 2 things out of that. But it's all to do with, I suppose, our context, our size perhaps, and the fact that, we have been open to one another. We see ourselves as human beings first, and then we have religious affiliation. You remember Gambia High School, Thursday, the Muslims go to the hall for prayers. I can't remember that. Christians go aside. but yet we interact for the rest of the week, which is good. That is to say, we are one community, but we respect your faith, beliefs, and your faith and your belief. So that's basically what I will recommend, and I will pray hard that you seize opportunity, look for opportunities to export this wonderful blessing we have in our nation.
That's interesting when you talked about exporting this. How could this be done? Do you have forum where the Anglican Church will organize a conference wherein you can invite people from Islam to come and you sit down and you look? It's a possibility
Oh
for
yeah,
that
in fact, there is a continental organization known as PROCMURA, which stands for Program for Muslim-Christian Relations. We are part and parcel of that. And in the Anglican Communion, there is an entire, department that promotes, good relations between the faiths, not only Muslim, Christian, but Jewish and other faiths there. So there's a lot of organizations there. But I even think that we, through the Islamic Council and the Christian Council, something can be done. We start informally, first of all, because whether we like it or not, there are certain times we come together. But there was I remember some years ago when there was you may recall it, I'm sure you reported that perhaps, how there was a clash between one of the new churches and the Carifing Mosque.
Yes.
We were invited, Christian Council, to solve the problem. And thankfully, in no time, with the help of Koto Tom Sengor, we were able to solve that problem in no time. So we do come. In fact, we used to, it was a regular feature, you recall, in the days of blessed memory, B.O. Semikajane, we would go to State House as a interfaith group to discuss with the presidency and to pray for the nation and to raise one or two issues here and there. So these are things that, as part and parcel of the way we do things, that is indeed, whether we are aware of it or not, helps to deepen this long-established, way of doing things in the Gambia.
Your Grace, the festivity marking Christmas and that of New Year's Eve, I don't know, it's more grandiose when they talk about New Year's Eve than Christmas Eve. People tend to be more celebratory on New Year's Eve. Does that also take place within the church? I mean, when you do your Mass on Christmas Eve and the one on New Year's Eve, which is giving more prominence?
Well, that's a good question. Well, we somehow, again, even among the Christian community, we have, in a very nice way, agreed, you will do this, I will do that. The Anglicans, for example, we only do midnight Mass, Christmas midnight Mass. We do not do
New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve watch night.
Okay.
And the Methodists do that. So there's a tendency for the Methodists to join us
on
for
Christmas Eve,
and
yes.
we join them. That is an unwritten law. But again, it goes to show how we are willing and ready to consider each other as neighbors, and we work together. That is it. That is basically. But I didn't realize that one was. I thought Christmas was more humba, as we say locally, than what you are a journalist. You know better than
Your
I.
Grace, finally, let me ask you, what will be your message to the Anglican community and to the Gambia at large on this Christmas and the coming of the end of the year?
Well, it's quite a challenge to repackage the Christmas message every year. And I've been doing it for the last 25 years. It's quite a challenge. So, but again, I do ask God for inspiration. And this year, I will be speaking to singles, those who've chosen the single life, reminding them that Jesus Christ, whose birth we celebrate, led a single life. And to consider people in our community who may not be married for one reason or the other, and to consider them as truly part and parcel of our community. That will be the message for this Christmas.
Your Grace, it's been a pleasure to have you on the interview. Let me take the opportunity once again to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year and a long life as well.
Al-Haj Malik, I thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. This has been the interview, and my guest has been His Eminence, the primate and Archbishop of the